States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Susan, could you please do roll call?
Reardon.
Here.
Layton.
Here.
Walsh. Hepmer.
Here.
Stasinski. Andres.
Here.
LaRose. Here.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to the agenda, review for conflict of interest. Was there any conflict anyone would like to bring up? No. All right. Moving on to agenda 4B, approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the Monday, May 20th agenda as is.
Support.
All right, approval of the agenda made by Reardon, supported by LaRose. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Moving on to public comment. Is there any public comment this evening?
I'd like to comment.
Yeah?
My name is Susan Foster. I live on Arbutus Lake, and the Lake 5 Park is very close to our loon's nest. We've been waiting for years to have loons, and we had the first. We finally got a new nesting pair. We finally got our first loons last year, and they had 2 babies, and there are now 2 eggs on the loon's nest. And one of the things that some lakes do is put up a sign, and I think you got an email about it.
Yes, yep.
And I did talk with Beth this week, and we exchanged an email. But what I would like to ask is if it's possible to allow us, at our own expense, to put up a temporary sign that kind of warns the boaters at the kayak launch not to get too close to the loon's nest. I don't know if that would be allowed or if you guys would consider that, but I felt a need to present that because they're very worried that last year there was a lot of boating interest on the loon's nest, and they almost drove the loons away. Now the loons are not endangered species yet, but they're threatened. And so these are the first, we've been doing this for 30 years, and last year were the first 2 babies we ever had. Those loons are due to hatch mid-June. And I'm just wondering if you might permit us to whip together a small informational sign if you're going to open the kayak at the Lake 5 Park, the kayak launch there by then. Or even for the rest of the season. And we would put up a temporary sign and take it down when you guys get your ideas together about the signs that you would like to have permanently installed.
Well, I think with the loons, we have loons nesting on Rennie Lake, and we had to get a permit. Does the Lake Association?
We have, the Lake Association has the permit and 3 buoys surrounding them.
Okay.
But buoys have to be within a certain number of feet, and it's not far enough to keep from scaring mom and dad off the nest. So,
Do you have a sign at the boat launch?
we don't have one up there yet, but the Lake 5 has its own, I don't know if you are familiar with Arbutus Lake, but it's got a narrows and it's a it's a no-wake lake because it's very shallow there. And after the loons get off the nest, we have to remove the nest, and we're hoping to have a similar sign. Or if you get your permanent sign, we were going to ask the state of Michigan for permission to put one on the boat launch also.
I feel
And
like,
we will do the temporary sign at our expense and Beth said that they were going to consider it, but I don't know how far along in the project you are, but our loon nest watchers are really interested in getting a sign up quickly. for the opening of the kayak launch.
When is the park going to be open? Is it going to be Memorial Day? Are they going to have that even paved? Because it wasn't paved on Saturday.
Yeah.
They paved the first course today.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I can, whenever you're
Yeah.
ready, I can provide a full update.
Yeah,
Because that might be a key, too, to maybe come up with an answer for you, too, if we knew the
Yeah.
date.
Well, if you can just, Beth has my email address, and with the one, it came directly from the association website address, so I just wanted to ask if you would consider that, and as soon as you say yes, I hope you will, then we'll go ahead and try and get a sign in place for whenever you're open.
I could see where it could be temporary till after the babies are born and they're sort of, not using that nest per se. Usually, I think ours usually go until maybe mid-July, if I remember right, by
They
time.
stay
then
on
we
the nest about a month after born.
Yeah, and then
they're
we'll
born.
pull the loons nesting buoys out. But I could see where it would not hurt if we could put a sign in the park there, if we could, whatever we got to do, but it's only temporary.
Well, I
so.
appreciate your consideration, and I would like you to consider a permanent one. The email that we sent out, I don't know if you guys all got it, but the email that we sent out had pictures of the one they put up at Lake Ann. And I'm not sure we'd want to word it exactly like that, but something similar to that might help. But that would be probably there permanently then.
Well, and I think with that, like the kayaks, it's mainly the motion of the, that water hitting, and that sort of scares them. And of course, everyone's curious, they want to get as close as they can, but they
last-
need to give, I know, they need to give
Yeah, and the
the
last thing you
space.
need to do is be scared off the nest before the eggs are hatched.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I appreciate it very much that you consider that, and if somebody would just let me know, I'll leave my contact information with whoever you tell me to leave it with.
yeah,
Okay, I'll get it together. Thank you.
Well, we have your email, and you've been talking with Beth, so,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we have a way to reach out to you.
yeah. We'll just relay to Beth with our decisions, so.
I'm sorry.
We'll just relay it to Beth with our decision, but I don't see an issue.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Brian, would you like to do your update here real quick?
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Brian Souza from Wade Trim. Update on a couple park projects. First off, Arbutus 5. We have been waiting and waiting for them to start paving. It's been a scheduling issue on the paver side. They got there today, paved the base course. So what we typically do when we pave it in 2 courses. Put it on the first half, and then we put a tack coat down, and we put on the second half a few days later. So they got the base course, the first layer down today. I know there were some, I wouldn't say issues, there's some things they've got to work out on that when they do the top course. So they are scheduled to do that top course right now, I believe on Wednesday. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's Wednesday when they plan on doing that top course. Other than that, after they finish the paving, they'll come in and they'll paint the parking stripes. So everybody knows what spaces are ADA, what spaces are, not ADA. And then, there were a couple things they were trying to fix, or some bugs they were trying to tweak with the pump, the sewage pump that pumps everything up to the drain field across the road. So they'll have to do probably some touch-up on the topsoil seed and mulch, because some of that's getting scuffed a little bit around the edges as they're doing the paving, which is fine, that's typical. So they'll have to fix that a little bit. But they were originally supposed to be done by today. So with the problems, I wouldn't say problems, but with the issue with the scheduling on the asphalt and the paving, they're going to be probably most of this week. Right now, contract-wise, like I said, they were supposed to be done today. We gave them an ultimatum of before Memorial Day, so hopefully that stands, because then there's some other items to discuss if they can't get it done in that time. So
What about the open ground by the trees?
open,
Right when you pull in, it's dirt.
yeah, that'll all be topsoil seeded and mulched. They're supposed
Seeds
to,
have to grow.
the seeds have to grow, right?
And are we
And-
gonna rope that off to keep people off of there?
We'll probably have to do some of that. Now, what we ask them to do, typically they'll do all the paving, and the last thing they do is they pull out is a topsoil seed and mulch, which a lot of times is hydro seed. We asked them to do that early so that that stuff had a chance to grow before we opened it up, and it was a mad dash to the park. They have done a lot of the park. I thought they have done all of it. But will it be established enough to keep it from getting ruined if they trample it? Probably not, so they may have to come back and reseed.
Has anybody
areas.
seen any geese over there?
I know that a couple weekends ago, they had to kick people out. Because I know the township didn't want anybody in there using it while it's an open construction site. Some things were getting messed with. Actually, some of the concrete had to be removed and re-poured because of boot marks. Don't know if it was a worker there or somebody else, we don't know. That's all at the contractor's expense.
I was just
But-
saying the geese, ducks. Geese.
Oh, geese and ducks. Oh, I'm sorry. I used by those. I don't think so. I haven't seen
I was
any. I
just
drive by there
curious
quite often.
if they're coming back. Yeah, I was there either Saturday or, no, it was Sunday. Drove by and there's a car parked up on the highway, even though it's roped off. And they were down sunning on the launch there,
Yeah.
enjoying it though.
I think it looks really nice. The water level has come up quite a bit, as it always does in the spring, right? So the only thing that, as I looked at it, I'm like, wow, that's a lot. That's different than what we anticipated is the Moby mat that goes across the beach. We used to have to go out a lot farther to get to the water. Now the water's like 4 feet away. So, but those are easily adjustable. That Moby mat just sits on the ground. So as the water recedes, that can be picked up and shuffled. And we want to try and get it as flat as we can for use. So,
You said picked up and shuffled as
Yep.
opposed to extending.
right.
So it's.
It's like
size?
30 feet long right now. By the water's edge, we only need about 15 feet. So we're trying to figure out, are we gonna cut it and then just lay them? Because you can lay them like a regular dock, but they sit right on the ground. You can lay them end to end. Or are we just gonna shove that farther out into the lake? And I think probably the best option is to have it in two pieces. One, it's easier to pick it up. If it gets sand all over it, you can shake it off, put it back down. If it's shorter, that's easier. And then it's also easier to take out in the spring and deal with that way, so. Anything else on Arbutus before I jump to Jen's?
When is our opening for number 5?
It was supposed to be today.
Supposed to be today.
Yeah, so they've got the next course of asphalt to do and some things with the pump, so, we're holding the contractor's feet to the fire, and there are clauses in the contract that have monetary backing, so, and he's aware of that.
Is
And
that
right
open
now,
on Wednesday or no, because they're pouring on Wednesday?
they would be most likely paving Wednesday, so we're hoping it's open by Friday for the weekend, so
Okay.
I can't guarantee that. It's all on the contractor's schedule, and we can't dictate his schedule, but he knows he's beyond his limit and causing issues, so.
Who did that?
who else?
Contractor.
It is, it's Spence Brothers. That's the general, and then they've got a couple subs underneath them for the general site work, and then the paving is another sub. But the company that's responsible to make sure all this gets done is Spence Brothers.
Okay.
Yep, that's who the checks are getting cut to. Anything else on that one? Okay, Jen's Park, real quick. Contractor is going to start very soon. The only thing with Jen's was ordering the grills and the tables. Those are a long lead item. And the contractor came back and said, hey, instead of me waiting to start work here when those come in, how about I get all the site work done now? All the pads, the paving, the sidewalk, everything that needs to be done. And then when the grills and the picnic tables come in, then we will install those. Those are a direct mount on the concrete pads. So people would have full use of that site in the meantime. So as soon as we get the letter from the contractor that says, yes, they have been ordered and we will have them in it's 10 to 12 week lead time. We'll install them. In the meantime, we want them to start, and they had said they would be done before the 4th of July out there. So, minus the tables and the grills. So as soon as those would come in, they would install them.
10 to 12 weeks?
10 to 12 week lead time on ordering those, yeah.
We ordered them We haven't ordered.
We gave him the green light to do that a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. He's been awarded the project, yeah.
So when summer's over, we'll get the picnic table.
It's probably the way it goes. Hopefully, it's not that way, but 10 or 12 weeks is 3 months, so ordered mid-May, June, mid-July, mid-August.
Yeah, September.
So, the other option was to wait until, because the way the contract was written, he had to get it done anytime between, I want to say it was Memorial Day and Labor Day, but once he started work, he had to have it done in 30 days. So he couldn't do 2 days worth of work now, 2 days next month, and cram it in at the end. So he said, look, I can do that, or if you just let me get everything done on the site now, and we'll just wait for those items to come in and we'll install them, then you can at least use the site in a better manner until then. So it's really kind of what we all felt would be best.
And who's the contractor?
Contractor for that is Bash Excavating, BASCH. Okay, unless there's any other questions, that's all I had this evening.
Perfect, thank you, Brian.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
You as well.
Thank you.
Is there any more public comment at this time? All right. Approval of the minutes for April 15th, 2024, and May 15th, 2024, special meeting Parks Tour.
We have two copies.
Yeah, our packet has 2 copies of the regular meeting minutes,
And no copies of the
special meeting.
No copies
I
of
have-
the special meeting? Really? I do.
The special meeting wasn't that emailed to us, or do we get an email?
I do have the notes, but I do also have,
Well, there wouldn't be minutes per se, because
Just
it
notes
was
from
all
the-
the
well, I
notes.
guess,
Just notes from the
April
visit?
15th.
yeah, because we do have like the regular
Budget,
meeting
budget,
minutes
budget,
in place,
budget.
and the notes.
Oh, yeah, it's just after the treasurer's.
Oh, there,
report.
there, okay, okay.
It's in there. I move to approve the minutes for the April 15th and May 15th meeting.
Both copies?
With correction
good there.
with, I think your name, your first name, Ally,
Oh, gosh, I didn't.
on the April 15th with the
Oh, I mean,
correction of her name, Ally, A-L-L-I.
thanks.
But I just noticed on our special meeting Parks Tour, I had on there the original, the opening time that we started, and then the closing time on the ones that I had sent out to you. I don't see them on here.
Yeah, we might have to come back to the April 15th, because we didn't want to adopt the notes as the meeting minutes, just because they're kind of detailed. It was more like, went here, here, and here with the times on it. And so I don't know if Beth ended up creating that more general version of the minutes to adopt, but they didn't, like you said, there's 2 copies of the regular, is what I'm thinking happened, versus what you turned in, Susan.
Okay.
So that's why, but if it doesn't have the meeting time and end, we shouldn't adopt those as meeting minutes.
Right.
So, yeah, let's come back to the May 15th if you guys are okay with that.
I mean, I think roughly we started at 5:34 and we ended at 8:32.
That sounds right.
But they're not here, so we
Yeah.
probably, we'll approve those next.
Yep.
but- Okay.
So I move to approve the April 15th meeting minutes and not to approve the May 15th meeting.
Support that with the correction of Ally's first name.
All right. Reardon to approve the minutes for April 15th, and Susan to support that with the correction. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, correspondences, I believe the only correspondence was the email from the Arbutus Lake Association involving the loons. At this time, do we want to discuss on that, or when would be a,
I think it's a good idea. I just want Beth to have final sign off on
Yeah.
what the actual sign says and looks like, probably.
okay. Where you guys weren't here.
I'm familiar with the email.
Okay, so,
They just want to put up a template.
yeah, they like to put up a signage saying that the loons are nested, and there's you know,
So temporary sign, but ultimately, it's ideal to get a more permanent sign is what you guys would prefer?
Right.
I believe that that's what Beth indicated in
Okay.
response to my request to have a meeting with her last week.
Yeah, typically during the during the mating season and eggs and all that, they're hanging out near that nest, but pretty much then, like mid-July and July, they're just out hanging out wherever they can stay away from the boaters. But it is a crucial time right now to get that sign over there and up there. I personally wouldn't have a problem with it.
When Beth answered my email, and I didn't bring my phone in, but when she answered my email, she specifically said that she would like to have whatever loon sign they do put up permanently. She would like to make sure that that's cohesive with the other signage at the park.
Absolutely, yeah, so I'm sure we'll want that
This
too.
would just be something temporary to get us past
Okay.
the nesting season, and then hopefully when we can move over to the boat launch. And you guys can take it over from there, or I think you have to vote to do it.
I don't
mean,
think we
no,
could do anything on that others, but at least at Arbutus 5, we could do the sign, and actually, in my own opinion, it's, those residents that are on the lake, that someone, this is my thoughts anyways, that they would come, put it up during nesting, and then take it down after nesting, so, yeah.
That would make a lot of sense.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, I'm
If
sorry.
it gets
Yeah.
cold mid-July, then you'll take the sign down at the park, because that won't be an immediate thing. And
Right.
other boats want to chase them around. There's not much we can do about that.
Mainly people like to see them and watch them and go slow by them, but,
Sometimes they like to chase them.
yeah,
Yeah.
mhm, very much.
Well, it sounds like that Beth's already been in communications, and that's really more of buildings and grounds than Parks Commission
Yeah.
realm, so.
Yeah, no, I think,
To be okay with it.
I think we would be in
Yeah.
favor of temporary signage put up and taken down by the Lake Association. And then we can definitely look into some kind of more permanent educational sign as well for loons, as there are plenty of loons on our inland lakes, so. All right,
Well, thank you very much.
yeah, thank you for coming.
I'll relay that to the guys and see if we can get something put together real quickly.
Yeah.
Open that soon, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
yeah, you're welcome, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
All right, I don't think there were any more correspondences, so if no one has anything, we'll move on to our reports. Garrison, would you mind doing the treasurer's report?
Yeah, those first few pages are just standard payroll for meetings. One of the things I saw, looks like we got some picnic tables for 1,100. I'm assuming that's two. What are those for?
That sounds like one.
Oh, is it really?
Is it?
Yeah, you would know.
How much they cost.
Well, it said tables on the memo line, so I was hoping it was.
It could be.
I can email Beth if you guys want more details on that. Then, standard engineering
Yeah,
costs.
what's with all the payroll and all those, I couldn't
Yeah.
understand why we had that.
It just, the report, it's a new system, and so she ran a report out of it, and this is how it pulled it, with a little bit extra detail in it,
It
so.
usually just shows payroll summary, but this is the payroll detail.
Yeah.
So it shows like payment, FICA retirement, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so it's all your taxes for all your
Right, I
paychecks.
see that.
Yeah.
We got a sign for the farmer's market, and yeah, that's about it, nothing too big. Well, Arbutus like 5, but that's because we're paying to finish paving that.
And what were those picnic tables?
Oh, this is for the farmer's market,
Oh, is it?
I
Yeah,
bet,
the
because
one
it's in the food securities line item.
Yeah, I see, it says U-line.
That's the vendor.
I know, but that's why I was like, I don't think we have those kind in our parks.
Look at the line right above it.
Yeah, they did, and then now that I say that out loud, I know I think there's a couple of picnic tables right out here.
There
Because Sam
is.
was talking about, right after he set them up out there, people were already eating at them, so,
It still sounds like it's one.
yeah.
There's a
The
couple.
farmer's market, there's definitely at least two.
What, the picnic tables?
For the farmer's market picnic tables, there are definitely at least 2.
Yeah, I think there's couples just sitting out back here.
Okay.
Okay. If there's nothing else on the treasurer's report, we'll move on to a staff report.
The only thing that I have is, the game night at Grace McDonald. Loss of words, I apologize. I don't think I ever sent a final email out with the date, did I?
No, I was
I
just
don't-
looking to see.
I don't recall.
I
Okay.
don't recall that.
So we're working on finalizing the date to be August 8th from 5 to 7.
What day of the week is that?
It's a Thursday.
Okay.
So that was one of the dates that had the most people that could attend from the Parks Commission. Not everybody could, but out of the dates that we
So
had,
that was a Thursday?
Thursday, yep, August 8th. So we're going to be working on, and by we, I mean probably mostly Beth, but I will help as I can, for getting the games together. We're looking at maybe having some sort of either a food truck or a food tent, like from a food vendor to provide food. I don't know all the details of that. That's still kind of in the works for that. And we'll put something in the summer newsletter that goes out July 1st about that game night. So
And what time was that to be?
5 to 7. So I think when we get closer, we may come up, with kind of a better plan, like if we can have a couple people will help set up at the beginning, and then a couple people help pack up if you can't stay the whole time, and work through that. So,
Are you gonna put it on the Grace schedule then, right? Like with the township?
yeah.
Block that off?
I know that there were some questions you kind of left off. Last meeting, it says that a budget would come back, and so I don't know the specifics of that. Where'd it go? Staff will bring back a budget to the Parks Commission we can work on that for June's meeting. I can't imagine it would be too much, especially since we didn't do the sledding party this year.
Yeah.
So, a couple of things.
So will you be doing the notes in that for the parks, for the summer newsletter, Sarah?
Yes.
I just wonder if that would be appropriate or not to put in, I really would like to get just East Bay Township free little libraries, other residents that are here in the East Bay Township. I don't know if that's a good way to reach out to all of them.
What are you looking for them?
The little free, the little free libraries.
Uh-huh.
The residents in East Bay Township that have the little free libraries.
Okay, that aren't in the parks for the township?
Right.
Okay,
Right. To someday in the future, like maybe the first Saturday after school's out, that we have like a little free library event on Saturdays that's ice cream at all the little free libraries. I don't know, just some thoughts, some common thread for all of us that have the little free libraries. And also, that would be the parks, included in on the parks too. But I don't know if that's the proper place to put something like that.
yeah. Yeah, I think that it's something that maybe we can flesh out what that looks like. I mean, I think that'd be great to be able to kind of organize all the free little libraries. I just don't know, do you have a list of like people that are privately that have
No,
them
and
or
that's
no?
what I would like to
Yeah.
have and create.
Okay.
I even went on, because mine's registered, but I even went on the Little Free Library website, and I'm registered, but I need to get it onto the app. So I don't know how many are really out
Okay,
there.
I see. Now I understand. So I think I can chat, I'll double check with Beth, but if, if we just had a line like, do you have a free little library, let us know and send in the location, because then we could add it, unless, Parks Commission isn't comfortable going that far with it. I mean, we have the free little libraries listed on the Parks Commission website. And I don't know if you'd want to expand that in any way to say, there's other, private that aren't ours, or if you want to
I
try
think
to.
though, most people who have a little free library really want everyone to use it. So I was just trying to get all East Bay residents together.
I mean, I'd be
For the
fine
little
with
libraries.
collecting the locations, but that's up to the resident that has it if they want to share
Right,
the location of
exactly.
it, so.
Or just like maybe encouraging them to register it officially if they haven't already.
Or to get a group together with all the little free libraries that have that. And, I wouldn't mind being a contact if they need a contact. But it just would be fun to do something, once a year, just to
Little library,
promote the
book
libraries
club.
and kids, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a
But
good idea.
again, I guess ask Beth if that's the proper place of putting that, or I could put it on Spider Lake next door, possibly,
Okay.
too.
Yeah, I think that could work, and like you said, people can volunteer their information, and if they don't want to participate, they don't have to, but it might be a good way to start having that discussion and figuring out what that looks like, so,
Okay, thanks.
perfect.
All right. Any more, Sarah?
And then the only thing I wanted to mention is that on July 8th, we have the next quarterly meeting, which has Ally and Corey volunteered to attend, so I know we've got another month in there, but just as a friendly reminder.
Could we have a dunking tank at that?
Are you volunteering to be dunked?
No, I'm volunteering on getting it. So I can line up people to get dunked.
We could see what the cost of that would be.
Wow.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, I get the fire department over there.
Volunteer one of them.
I'm sure they'd appreciate that.
But, okay. Moving on to business before the Parks Commission, 9A, the Parks Tour recap / projects. I believe everyone was there other than Ryan. I don't know if Ryan, if you had a chance to look at the notes, but we did the usual tour, took notes, ideas, so. I guess, do we want to go over this list park by park, or?
The whole sheet's missing, actually. I had all the list of who was present.
Yeah,
Also there too, so
but-
I think, but anyways,
mean-
we'll revisit.
We
that.
were all present except for
Are there any
Ryan.
notes that aren't captured on here that we want to add?
That's right. Is there?
Can
Not
I-
like Times and stuff, just, anything that you remember from the tour that's not listed.
Can we add replacing basketball hoops at Grace McDonald? Those hoops
Can we
are
what?
not
Yeah.
great.
Basketball hoops at Grace McDonald.
I have a feeling like if we put something quality out there, people would use them, but, I mean, the hoops are not great to play on.
Yeah, the ones at Pine Grove look really good, actually.
At Pine Grove.
The rims look good.
The
Backwards.
net was, the
Rims
nets
and net
were
looks
good.
good. Backwards
Yeah,
not good.
no. And hopefully that'll be a pickleball court half.
Well, I did add do ceiling, crack ceiling and paint at the Pine Grove Park, but that was for basketball, but I also know people said it's a huge court, maybe we should make part of it pickleball.
Yeah. Now, what did you added, what did you say, cracks? 'Cause I don't have that listed on.
Just seal cracks on the basketball court and repaint the basketball ones. Just
At Pine,
at Pine Grove, yep. So we just got the courts at Grace McDonald done.
Although there was quite a few cracks at Grace.
You went on the basketball courts?
Oh, not the basketball, no, yeah, the pickleball courts. Is there anything else?
Ryan, since you were out, one of the big things that kind of came up in conversation we talked about towards the end was converting the field at Grace McDonald into a dog park versus refinishing it.
I think, just from my recent work in parks, yeah, there's a big demand for fields, and I think
That's what I
if
think
we
Zach said.
marketed the field, let people know that it exists, people would use it.
Well, my point to Beth was, you've now gone through spring sports, fall sports, spring sports. Has any team contacted you about using the fields? And she said no. And that's probably the second year in a row.
I've directed two user groups in the last probably week and a half.
Oh, well, then they haven't reached out to Beth, because as of Wednesday night, they said,
I directed them this way, doesn't mean they'll,
right.
jump on it or
What
not.
user groups?
It was a soccer group that was
Okay.
looking to do like a, I think 9-on-9 soccer at the Civic Center, but we don't have the field space
Right.
there because we're tapped out. So
Right.
they were looking for other locations and, the field at Grace McDonald came up, so, would direct them to them.
Do you think that we have enough parking there to accommodate the user groups that, like, have the need for field space? That was one of our other concerns.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Is there enough space?
like enough
Parking.
parking
We're talking about
spots
parking, like how much.
for like all the other users.
Yeah, I
and
would think so.
So, okay.
I would
Because
think
it was
so.
kind of busy there the night.
There
we
was a
went there.
baseball game, so it was pretty tight there that night.
Yeah, and I've seen, I'm not sure, I think it might have been like some sort of football team that practices there. So, I mean, some people might just show up to use it.
Right, yeah.
But, it's a good sized field, and I think their irrigation is still there. I don't know how good it's been working, but the only thing I remember is, it's kind of lumpy over the field, so, it'd be nice to flatten that somehow, but, what that would take, I'm not sure.
I think it could go both ways. To market it as field practice space, definitely would have to spruce it up and also market it if
Well,
we
just
wanted
let people know that
to.
it's out there
Yeah.
for multi-use sports and
Yeah.
all that. Another thing is, I think, and I'm not sure, maybe you guys know, there's a rock, some sort of rock with some sort of dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I took a picture of it because I knew we would talk about it.
Okay, is that for that field?
Correct.
What does it say, to be used
So-
for what? Is it a specific
Hold on,
purpose?
just hold on.
Was it like
Oh,
Bert
is
Zagers
that
or?
picture?
I don't recall the name, but I do know.
Bert A. Zagers Memorial Field, well known as an outstanding athlete, I was in a hurry to get the whole thing. Outstanding University director, played football, Michigan State, Redskins, dedicated and vision for recreation. He will
I mean,
well
Well done,
known and
well done.
I know, I failed, sorry, I failed. I was so proud of myself,
We're taking a picture of half of it.
I know.
It's a thought that counts.
Something was the first East Bay Township Park Director. May or
Yeah,
may
that's
not be
right.
more after that. He played football for Michigan State University, Michigan State University and Washington Redskins. He dedicated, dedication and vision for the recreation, Parks of East Bay Township will long be remembered.
So,
So it's not that he dedicated the field, it's that dedication and vision for recreation of the
Yeah.
Park City East Bay Township.
It doesn't say he hates dogs.
That's me. I mean, we can
I'm
keep
wondering-
it can stay there. It is the Memorial Field. Bert A. Zagers Memorial Field,
If anything, it
1933 to 1992.
should be moved closer to the field somewhere, but,
It is, it's right there. It's right when you
well,
walk
it's at
in.
sort of the top before you sort of go down. the
Yeah,
little
it's right next to
slope.
like that row of benches, yeah.
it could definitely be repositioned to make it more visible. The field was definitely created for athletic use.
Are we gonna redo it this year, and if so, how much money do you wanna put to it? My thoughts were, the dog park's cheaper to get up and running and cheaper over the long run maintenance wise.
Oh, and we talked about having three fields, so one would be growing, yeah, and then switching those.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I missed the little section, but you're saying there's a demand, but Beth is saying nobody's
Ever contacted?
ever
her.
contacted us.
The maintenance said it's basically being
In the
used as a
last-
dog park.
Yeah.
For
Yes.
years. But, I
Now,
mean,
I don't doubt that people drop in there and, hey,
mean-
let's have a practice, but in terms
do we
of,
have a rental fee for that field? Maybe that's why they don't contact us, because it's free.
It's also not as convenient location. I mean, I'm sure a lot of your leagues want to be at the Civic Center just because it's dead center. People don't want to drive out to East
But
Bend.
there's not space.
Sure, no, I get it. I play on those leagues.
Okay. I don't know,
Is it too late in this, I mean, is it too late to kind of talk to folks about like fall sports and see if they have any interest for that? Because I mean, school's essentially out now and kind of like test the theory. I think both ideas are great. It's just which one.
I mean, my point is, if you're any sort of organized team and you generally approach and have permission to use the field that you're going to use, right? Would you agree?
yes and no.
Okay. No, I
We have some people
acknowledge
who
that
show
people
up
just
and we
do
have to
pop
kind
in.
of shoo them off once in a while.
Yeah. But generally, you know, I think it's been years, and correct me, because you was in that chair for a long time. I think it's been years since Pop Warner used the field, and, you know, when Pop Warner used the field, there was some sort of agreement. So,
Yeah, so, yeah, maybe it's just based on, people approaching us on wanting to use it. But, right now, it's not very playable field because it needs to be flattened. And maybe that's, maybe people don't want to host practices there because of that.
I see, yeah. Yes?
Does the park commission have like a mission statement?
Yeah, back in the implementation, chapter 5 of that, I think there's a,
Trying to see which one ranks higher.
Well, because if we think about East Bay Township dog park, if we think about Grand Traverse County fields, what are the township members going to get the most out of? Probably a dog park.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, where?
it's in chapter 5.
You? Sorry, I had to ask that question. I should have known.
It should be right there.
Oh, right. There's,
So currently, there's, how many dog parks in Traverse City? 3?
There's Wags, which is the tiny one right on Division, and then the nice big one is Silver Lake Recreation
Resident.
Area.
There's another one on
They're-
Keystone,
Yeah,
though.
that, they're getting ready to open that, Beth said.
Keystone?
That's
Yeah,
Garfield
it's really
Township.
nice. They-
Keystone and
it-
Hammond.
It was finished last year, but it wasn't open because they wanted the grass to get established, right?
I had no idea that was there.
You can see it from the road.
Big down.
If you turn right off Hammond.
Have we
Oh,
abandoned,
okay, that's why I.
have we abandoned the idea of doing a dog park at the water tower?
No, it was brought up because
just a
the field's
field
already
there.
like
Yeah, we're
clear,
really
like,
far
Way,
away,
it's already
kind of a
3/4.
low-hanging fruit project.
Yeah. We would just have to extend the field or extend the fence and put up, like, fence off 2 more sections, and it's basically done.
Water's bigger.
I'm not sure what the requirements, I know that a lot of the dog parks had to get some sort of special type of fencing, but I'm not sure, I'm not,
It's just
I think-
chain link fence, you just have to have a double door entry.
Yeah.
no, I thought it was some sort of coated fence.
Oh,
No.
it's coated or something? I guess, the
I
naked eye
don't
looks
know,
like
I
a.
don't know, I don't
Silver Lake
have a
looks like a
dog.
So
normal-
it doesn't rush.
I mean, they're both two viable solutions of the field. It's just direction, do we want to?
What do you think
The mo-
about this? If we somehow advertise that we have this field for those that have an interest in using it for their sports, and see if you get a response? I mean, it's not like we're gonna get the dog park in next month or 2 months from now, and take this time to get the information out there that it is available. Is there a team or a group or that has an interest in using it?
Yeah, it'd be nice to see, if we could put some sort of like feeler out there to see who actually uses that field. I know some people use it for their dogs and stuff now too,
Well,
currently. but-
Cameras.
Are there cameras back there, though?
They have cameras on the field?
No, there's not ones that point at
I'm
the
sure there's
field.
there's a camera somewhere that we could see traffic.
I
and
think we
what-
just need to figure out, and Sarah could also help figure out, how do we get that information out? And just see what kind of response we
We do
get,
a
you know,
QR
take the
sign at the
summer
bar.
and.
Literally vote dog park or refinish like sports field.
Yeah, I think the bigger thing to address is, how do we get this information out? We don't really have much of a platform to get it out to people, well, a platform that people use. Like social media, people use that, get it out sooner. Nextdoor is a good
Well, Nextdoor-
resource.
Next, yeah, Beth gets a lot of activity on her next door post, I think.
So maybe put a feeler out through Nextdoor. That might be a good
And I
start.
think we have Facebook, although I don't think you can correspond back and forth with these
We
Facebook.
talked
Township
about it.
doesn't have Facebook.
Oh, they
The
don't.
farmer's market.
The farmer's market does, but the township itself does not.
I mean,
Overheard
Yeah.
Traverse City.
Yeah.
What's the post?
you could send an email to the school systems. I don't know if that's,
Yeah.
well, I mean, because the school systems are usually tied into, I mean, how do you get,
I mean, I think there's a lot of groups out there that would use the field had they known about it. Like, I mean, there's lacrosse groups that are looking for fields and stuff, and that's a sport that would tear up a field a lot, so maybe we bring them there and they can flatten it first. I don't know. Like,
I think it's a field that's just, people have used it, and then once their kids, got to an age where people weren't participating, and then it just it's kind of hidden, it's a hidden field.
Yeah.
If you don't go to Grace, how do you know about it? And a lot of
And
people,
really,
Best
if
serve
you
our
go to
residents.
Grace and you don't venture off.
Yeah, that's
you
true,
really
too.
don't notice it.
Yeah, if you don't walk through the playground, you really don't see it.
So do you think for this year, we would do like investigation work on it to see if dog park or fields seems
Yeah.
good and come back to it next year?
I'd say try to get some sort of community engagement to see, what is more liked, I
Okay.
guess, and, if we could get that out there.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it would be good to kind of get those responses during the summer, and then like, if we really want to sit here and thoroughly compare the two options, I don't, like, make the decision over the winter and like have that lined up so that, whatever we choose to do, it can happen early next year, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we could go wrong with kind of sprucing it up, make it better, people come, if it's more usable.
That's just a lot more upfront cost if we're gonna do it that way versus making
Well, I mean,
stuff for dogs, throw in some.
You want grass there anyway, so if you make the grass nicer, it could,
But grass is
That'd be-
pretty nice.
But yeah, the fact that we don't pay a lot of attention to it, the grass I thought looked.
Very
really
good.
patient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's decent, but there's a lot of divots and stuff, where,
From football.
yeah, and it just needs to having a nice lawn takes a lot of work, and we definitely don't do work to it, it just gets watered and mowed, so.
The mowing is contracted out, correct? So, I
Yes.
mean, if we wanted to get this field, if we got it back to being flat, to work, and then we work with whoever the subcontractor is to, take care of the fertilizing, the overseeding in the spring and all that, and I bet you those fields would look outstanding. But, what the cost is for that, I don't know, but I don't think it'd take a whole lot.
No, just need some sand and a little bit of topsoil to drag around and throw on some seed to reseed it.
Well, I mean, I've seen pretty big trucks go over fields and leave like really big divots and stuff, and they've brought like these like steamroller looking things to flatten it out, and
They got
I think the one
different
on,
rakes and stuff, they can drag it out and.
it'd be worth to
We
see.
do like community engagement on one aspect to get input, and then also like cost analysis for both projects, see if Beth can get any type of, even if it's a rough, not an actual quote, but like a rough estimate.
Well, it doesn't hurt to get numbers, yeah.
And actually, the roller, the flattening, I mean, it really wasn't any dry grass, it was beautiful lawn, although you said it's kind of ripply or whatever.
We didn't really
That
walk out
either
to it.
way, whether it's for the dogs or whether it's for field team groups, it probably should be leveled either way,
I don't think we can go wrong doing a little maintenance to it
no.
for either.
It hasn't had any for a long, 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 long time.
So essentially, if you want a dog park, you're gonna want decent grass too, so,
Well, I think you want it level.
yeah.
I'm good for that. I don't wanna go too far down the road and spend all these engineering costs on two projects and neither one get done. I'm all about the low hanging fruit.
Well, I think all it would take is calling a few landscaping companies to come out.
I was thinking like $1,000, $2,000 to,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a big field.
I mean,
Well,
we're not bringing in bulldozers leveling it out, it's
Yeah,
just some.
the cost is going to
yard
be the rental of the equipment to do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like we could probably do it within a couple thousand.
And all I'm saying is either way, which way it goes, it's still gonna have to be leveled out, you know, or pounded down or
Yeah.
whatever.
And there also would be a concern about the irrigation too, if leveling it out would damage that, so.
For sure, you definitely got the irrigation to do that.
I don't know if you'll have to take it out or, you know, you just have to be aware of where the spigot's at.
How deep it is.
Yeah. Yes.
That grass was pretty thick there. You'd be lucky to even see where they pop up those irrigations. It was super thick.
Yeah, and we should probably figure out more on this dedication too, you know, because if it was dedicated to
But
be
Lautner
like
should
some
know
sort
where
of
those are.
athletic field.
Lautner, I think that's who does the irrigation.
Huh?
They should know
Not
that.
sure.
Okay, so do you want to prioritize this field this year over other projects at Grace McDonald?
Yes.
Is that an accurate statement? I mean, there's a big list here of different items that need to be done at Grace McDonald. And is the field like a top priority for if we can get it done for a couple grand, you want to put it there?
I think we
Or-
need to reach out,
No, okay.
to see how you reach out to see the interests of people who are interested in possibly using it as a field, or any groups out there. So however, whether Beth puts something on Spider Lake or something to reach out to the township, or the township in their July newsletter puts something out to see if there's an interest. And if no one comes back with the interest of needing a field, then I guess that's gonna tell us.
We had 30,000 earmarked for Grace?
50.
50.
So we could easily,
Why did I think 30?
I will say.
I wouldn't even limit it
we
to
did
the
have
township, I'd bring it out
responses,
more,
but
neighboring
other
townships and
folks
stuff.
Exactly.
already looking for a dog park. So that's kind of a support in that direction as well.
Realistically, how far out do you think we are for the dog park at the water tower? That's, right, we haven't even done planning
Yeah, and I
and,
don't think we've done anything, just talk about it.
No, it's just
And
like,
I think it
that's
even
our
fell off the list at
designated-
one point.
yeah. So, I mean, that's at least a couple of years down the road, don't you think?
Yeah.
That's probably a tough.
Planning and
Did it?
funding?
Yeah, already there, people go there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's already people that go there, they'll just bring their dogs now. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're probably bringing.
I'm sure there are
their
people that
dogs
probably do,
there.
yeah.
There was
If
a dog,
anything,
there was
the
a dog
sod
there when
will
we were
have
on
to
tour.
be
Yeah.
taken up because,
Yeah.
Oh, that's really little golden, oh my God. Oh.
Didn't we budget Hammond money? Hammond
For
Park
planning, yeah.
Was it like 10 grand or
I
something?
don't know if it got budgeted. I know that it's in the parks plan to do.
I thought we budgeted for that.
I don't remember.
Or supposedly we did budget.
There should be a line item for Hammond Park.
I
I
think
don't know
we
if we
just
got
kind
that far.
of.
It might just be
that into,
lumped
like,
in.
Engineering, planning.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Into that category.
That's where it would be anyways, you're right.
I think that's correct.
Well, Sarah, you've mentioned the other long list of things.
I definitely want to do the trash cans for Dan.
Yep.
Right, yeah, trash cans and then the picnic tables and the grills, just like, again, back to that term, the low hanging fruit, that's stuff that we can easily.
Yeah, there's quite a low hanging fruits on here. I'd say the bigger items would be the field and the retaining wall along the basketball court, getting a plan for
And once again, the picnic tables, I mean, he was telling us they're 10 weeks out anyways, but I guess
Yeah.
we could just go ahead and get those ordered. You
Yeah,
know,
we
the-
can
Yeah.
suggest. Do we, how would that work? Would we just ask Dan or Beth to get some quotes for us and then approve it at an upcoming meeting?
What's-
Yeah, I think, I mean, that's, we would just
Yeah.
find ones either that are similar to that we've already bought or go through that process. So that's what I guess I'm trying to figure out. If we have those items, we can figure out how much that costs. We had kind of the Grace McDonald bucket of money had talked about cornhole, that project, phasing that in as well as part of spending that money at Grace McDonald. And that, you know, that's significant amount of money
Yeah.
for that. We did put in for a grant that we're still waiting to hear on, as well for cornhole, but
What was 10 weeks out? The picnic
picnic
tables?
tables and the grills.
What's so unique about them that's making 10
I
weeks out?
don't know. I don't know if they were just ADA or, I don't know the specifics.
Just the supplier.
Probably because it's summertime and everybody wants a picnic table.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long it took to get the picnic tables that we have
I
out
could think of like 3
back.
different places I could order a picnic table and have it like tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it depended on where the supplier and contract.
I can ask about that.
Okay.
But I don't know, are you looking at, and I apologize because I wasn't at the tour, the replace the trash cans, that's all of them at Jen's? Or I'm sorry, at Grace, or was it was a couple of them?
Dan said he didn't necessarily need them all, because some of them barely get used, like the
Okay.
out satellite ones, but he's like, I know the ones that get the most trash, and then animals get in and spread the wrapper, so.
Okay,
At least.
I mean,
Whatever
it-
Dan says. but
okay, so check with Dan on
I
some of
think at least
those.
2 or
I
3.
think he said, yeah, at least 2 or 3. I
Okay.
remember that specifically. And then he pointed them out to us, the ones that were like in bad shape.
Right.
Actually,
Right by
those
the pavilions.
green ones at Grace match the current green ones at Jen's, but that's not going to say that we're going to use those ones
I don't think
anyways.
you
I don't
like
think
those.
so.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
And
they were
Dan
open.
also wanted a new, while we're on trash cans, Dan also wanted a new trash can for Pine Grove. So if you can just add that to the order.
I think get a quote, some pricing for
It
standard,
says replace trash.
yeah, standardizing trash cans throughout our parks, and we can start placing.
And same with the picnic
Replacing.
tables. I mean, we have a list of 3 different parks for picnic tables replacement. Pine Grove, Killingsworth.
I'm trying to think, look,
Grace.
what is the design of the picnic table? Because I might be able to,
So I know at Arbutus, I think, and I'm sorry, at Grace McDonald, Beth had mentioned, you know, can you just like, I don't want to say sand some down, but just like pretty some up for the near future.
Which
And that-
that'll probably have to be done.
Yeah,
this summer
he said
because
he
they're
was
just
gonna,
not get
like,
'em.
he could get to that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because some of them are just really looking pretty shabby, and I think the context of that was ordering these takes a long time to come in, so let's fix a few of these up, you know, for the summer.
I think.
But I'm with you, I'm like, why does it take so long to get a picnic table? I mean, I don't know.
well, and like Uline, you can buy.
Can't we go
them.
and get like the, like they sell like the Amish ones on the side of the road, you know?
Well, depending, like I'm thinking metal, and you mentioned wood, so I mean, depending on which direction we're going with this, you know, wood, I don't know.
They're probably
You know.
composite
Oh.
and they're ADA accessible, and it's not that there's a
And
cutout
maintenance free.
in the picnic table, it's just that the ADA individual can choose where to sit, as opposed to.
Yeah, but I'm, you know, I'm saying this with that in mind too, though. I
Right.
should be, I could get ADA
It's the
stuff.
grills and not the picnic tables.
Grills I can get in like 2 days too.
You want
like-
to email Beth? I mean, yeah, if you
Yeah,
can hook it up quicker.
maybe it's just a matter of the right vendor, you know. I don't know if there was a certain type of vendor that we were preferred to go to, or,
Isn't the contractor, are they handling that?
No, I think
Yeah,
Beth
but
is.
if Ryan can get them quicker, why not have them?
And I will say,
Give
that,
Bethel-
you know, the
Bethel
choice
vendor.
that was given there at Arbutus, they're beautiful. I will say that. The picnic tables that are there, looks great. I mean, if you're going to do it,
and those ones are cemented into the ground, if I remember right. So that could be,
Well, that's
if
what's
it's that
happening
style.
I think.
at John's as well, was
back at-
they're getting
at
attached to the
Grace.
concrete.
Oh, yeah, he did say that.
It would be nice to paint the storage sheds
That's already happened,
Yeah.
gonna
There's a
happen.
lot of stuff on here that's pretty, I mean, I think the grounds people will go through bigger items. So I've got picnic tables, so just Grace. Picnic tables, grills, and trash cans, we'll look at the pricing for that. The bigger items that we probably will need to prioritize are the tents for the pickleball courts, right?
I think that would be a low hanging one, because we discussed pop-up tents with sand, like, they make sandbags to hold those down.
Okay. And then the benches at the pickleball court too.
I think Beth was
See,
on.
I didn't think those were that bad. I mean,
A couple of them are pretty bad.
a couple were bad, but
We have 2 benches in storage that haven't been assembled yet.
for the pickleball courts?
No, just, we have 2 benches that nobody told maintenance where to put them.
Oh,
We've
So-
got replaced 2 benches sitting at Pine Grove,
Right.
and then we've got replaced benches on pickleball. So we would have to determine,
Temporarily, we could just move between the trash bins and the benches, move them around a little bit, I guess.
Well, you're right, you have 2 benches. Do you want to put those 2 in at Pine Grove there, or do you want to put those 2 in at the pickleballs?
well.
Pine
that's
Grove.
2 at Pine Grove, so you could
You want to use those at Pine Grove?
Yeah,
cross that off.
and I think we should have Bob, or, like Stan, excuse
Dan.
me, go through and get a count on what benches / picnic tables need to be replaced due
Right.
to damage, get us some pricing
Yeah.
on those,
We'll do
and
that for
then
June.
we can determine what part gets what,
Right.
based
much
off of
money we
large,
have and-
combine all that between all the parks.
Yeah,
And if he can also know if any of them, like, I know at Grace McDonald, there's at least a couple that look perfectly good. Like, could we then move those to a
Yeah,
smaller park?
yeah, and we can shuffle things around to fulfill each park's need, including the trash cans as well. If we're gonna start standardizing more user-friendly trash receptacles, we can get some new ones and start swapping some around to,
Is trash cans gonna come out of, park budget or maintenance budget? And if we earmarked the 50,000 for Grace, can we be using that towards other parks?
right,
I feel like 50,000 isn't enough just to cover Grace.
right.
What?
I feel like 50,000 isn't even enough to cover what Grace
No,
has.
of course it's not.
Well, I think,
The way you just said that made it sound like there was extra money you could transfer.
Oh, no, I'm saying.
right, does
if
that have to
we
be used
said,
there?
we're gonna put 50,000 into Grace, and now we're like, oh, Pine Grove and Jen's, and.
Yeah, I think the
Gotta
other
stay
parks,
focused on
not
the-
every park has its own line item, and in the end, it's all about that budget center versus the line items. So, not that you'd want to pull from from Grace to pay for something else, but it's not as end of the world,
Which
right?
is our
It's the same
trash
pot,
cans, our
right?
trash cans park or is trash cans maintenance?
I'd have to ask. I'm imagining they're probably park because they're larger items, but
I would say.
we'll see.
some of it could be,
Maintenance.
Maybe a little of both.
I think
I'm
some
not
of
saying we
it could
won't,
be.
I'm just,
Right. So let me work through the trash can, picnic table, grill, bench situation, more information for June. Then we'll see what the rest of the list looks like. I can talk with Dan and see, because a lot of these items are things he can work on throughout the year. And then there's a couple of bigger items that we may have to say, okay, let's put this on our list to do next year, or, you know, maybe we need to dive into a couple of the items later in the year as well.
well, we can replace the 2 benches at Pine Grove right away.
Right, with those 2 that we have. Yeah. So, and I'll put together maybe like a little spreadsheet that helps to see where everything is. Like totals, you know, like benches, there's 4 in this park, 5 in this park, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if Beth needs help with getting quotes on anything too, I have a lot of this done just for a different organization.
Right.
So,
Okay.
You guys want to talk about any of the other parks besides Grace? then?
No, we definitely haven't gone in order at all.
The forestry plan, I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah,
I
the
think that's
forestry
the
plan
idea.
is
Yeah.
very
That's
important.
And we do have, we just need to contact them. We do have a local forester who will come and walk the property with Beth and whomever and help us do that.
Was it, which park was this one for?
That's Killingsworth,
Killingsworth.
is the forestry plan.
So we're looking into the picnic tables that we need. There's painting, replace or paint. Here's grills again. Paint, looks like we have like a paint project.
Right.
Paint keeps showing up. So we can look into replacing the first project, the grills, the tables, the trash cans. Have a painting section where, figure out how to knock off all the paint jobs.
I think a lot of the painting was already happening, but Dan was currently lining up people to get quotes, so.
That'd be great.
So that's low hanging, already in the progress, to my understanding.
Did you guys see anything nice in the catalogs for replacement equipment?
I stick to the dog stuff, Susan is pointing out.
I was looking at senior equipment, got the dog park, their agility things all picked out.
Okay, cool.
They're really
Great.
cute.
What's a notification info sign for Killingsworth?
Like what we have at Grace, the three-sided, but
Oh.
not that we need a three-sided over there, just a nicer information. Yeah, kiosk.
My last thing from the Parks meeting that Dan seemed really adamant about at Jens Park was upgrading the toilets, which while it's closed, seems like a good opportunity to do that. They flush pretty good when he did it, but he's like, they don't usually flush as good. Like, they get clogged all the time.
Yeah, that could be a problem. Yeah.
He said he already
What's
had
going on
to
there?
Snake the line, so there's nothing else that can be done except for replacing at this point.
Is he thinking it's the toilets, or is it maybe in the line, like?
No, he had
what's in
Roto-Rooter snake the line. The
Yeah.
lines we eventually.
No,
So,
Really?
but he's
they
like,
were,
these are old toilets from when they were installed, so
And it might get more use now that we're
Right.
going to spruce it up.
keep anything like that into the toilets, not in the bay.
Yeah.
Plus, it's gonna be closed right now, so it's a perfect time
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah, exactly, that's a good point.
Not
There's our budget.
Two toilets?
There's our 50,000.
No, we're talking Jens, I'm talking Jens Park. 50,000 was Grace. 100,000.
I'm just saying.
I think we can
those
afford
military
two
grade
power
toilets are
flushers.
Yeah,
expensive.
didn't Beth find
Prison,
the
they're
toilets?
prison grade
Yes, the
toilets.
prison toilets.
Yes,
That,
they take a licking, take a punch.
I wonder, I don't know, I could look this up, but does anyone happen to know offhand how old the restroom facilities are at Jens?
I think he said 17 years.
17 years, okay. Do we also know
Or at least that's what he said for the toilets.
Okay, do we know the lifespan of that whole entire facility? It seems to be in good condition.
The facility's fine, it just needs an upgraded,
I'm
more high
thinking
pressure.
About, there's just there's single stalls, which is very nice. But I wonder if with increased usage and with other things that may or may not be coming down the pipeline over the next couple of years, I wonder if we need to consider making them multi-stall. Do we have enough space to do that and maintain ADA?
Yeah, it's the ADAs.
well, it's not ADA accessible right now. If we're gonna get in there and
It is.
pull out the toilets, we should try to check off. It was just little things like the turning radius and the height of the dryer and the height of the sink and the height
The
of the toilet.
toilet.
Yeah.
That sounds reasonable.
We had a whole meeting
Yeah.
with Derby Park on
We
that,
did.
and that was really off. But I like that idea, but is it the right time right now? Maybe just take what we have, put a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, I
put
don't
the
want
new
to
toilets,
complicate matters at
and
all.
then go back and see with future usage, we'll probably see an increase that we would have to probably update that bathroom situation.
I think
But
if
that's a
we,
good idea.
like, I think we have to make sure it's ADA compliant if we're doing any kind of construction on it.
So if we're replacing the toilets, we can easily
Oh,
move things around. It was just heights of stuff.
That's what I'm saying. If we're going to be in there, let's try to tick off
I mean-
those.
A couple of checklists.
That sounds like a priority, let's.
yeah, I think that was one of the big priorities that we had is to make that kind of a focus.
On all the parts.
That's in our master plan.
So definitely toilets and any other low-hanging fruit from the ADA audit that we can get, because I know there was a bunch of little things that,
There was a boat.
the door's a little heavy, the switch for the lights.
The switches.
fixing the floor, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do we have to,
But there's some easy stuff too, like putting something soft around the pipes under the sink.
yeah. Who would do that for us?
Dan would.
Dan,
So one of the things that I'm thinking of is, let me check in with Dan about the ADA stuff, because I'm sure as, like you'd mentioned, as we're going through and doing improvements, those things are getting done and kind of checked off, but maybe we need to go, okay, you're going to be at Jen's this year doing toilets, let's prioritize making those ADA. And then next year, we're going to do something at one of the other bathrooms, or maybe we're not, but then we're going to prioritize the bathrooms at Grace.
Yeah,
Or
I
something
wouldn't
like
even be
that.
opposed to just giving him the audit paperwork and be like, hey,
Right.
you know, make these upgrades where you see fit when it
yeah.
makes sense.
He has the audit.
We have all those.
He has the paperwork, but just to kind of be able to, like, rest easy to know that when he's in there, we're doing those toilets, he's gonna take care and try to knock off what he can that are inexpensive, not major changes to that.
I mean, a lot of these things on all of the parks are pretty easy maintenance, low-hanging stuff Dan will take care of.
Right.
Grace definitely has some bigger items. Jen's, the toilets would probably be, the bathroom would be one of the bigger things there, plus the current project we have going on there. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, well,
I think,
yeah, let me work through this list, and we'll come back to it next month with some more details on everything, for that.
Oh, one thing, this is so easy, I think Dan said he was gonna get it, but the sign for Jen's as well, just to notify people that we're planning to be closed.
Yep.
And the other sign was for the pickleball court to
Yeah,
make sure. it's
squeegee it.
squeegee.
the-
Yeah, those are two simple ones that
Yeah,
could be
yeah,
done.
those seem very easy.
Yeah, so,
Anything
take
else
a look
for
at 'em.
everyone?
Against closed and. Easy. So we got grill, bench, table, paint, Jen's, toilet, and ADA compliance, and signs.
Yep.
And
Sounds
then
good.
just little things he can pick out. Oh, the forest plan.
That's the big one, though.
Were we gonna have Dan inquire about that, or is that,
I'm sorry, for what?
who's gonna inquire about the forestry?
I'll
that
check
be-
with Beth and see how to move that forward. I don't know if that's something she's gonna do, or have Dan set in motion, maybe it's already set in motion.
Yeah.
to
'Cause
see
I
what
think
they're-
I think Dan brought it up,
You did.
so,
Yeah.
And that ramp at Pine Grove, I think that's going to actually get done.
yeah. That's something Dan could
Yeah.
construct something, or we can look into buying some kind of ramp to fulfill that need.
And the
so.
$9,000 to fill with.
Yeah,
Right.
wood chips.
With the graded, environmental graded. wood-
EVS.
EGW, environmentally graded wood chips?
Sounds great.
What's the term for those, Ryan?
I can't recall, but I just remember Old Mission School has some really awesome wood chips that you could feel the buoyancy in them. It's awesome. And Civic Center does too, but just,
So that said it was 9,000 to do all of them.
That was
Well, that's
two.
just Grace and,
Pine Grove.
Well, yeah, Grace Pine Grove,
that sounds about right.
and that's all we have for the wood
Yeah.
chips. Did we give that a go?
yeah.
Yeah, I
think
think
that's
that's
just
going,
part
yeah,
of the
that's
maintenance,
just,
or the,
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
was,
I think
that
you
was
have
the
any role in
maintenance
that.
right.
Okay, great.
Yep. Anything more on the Parks Tour recap / projects? All right. Moving on to business before the parks, 9B, the Food Security Incubator at-large member application.
This, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think Beth added this in
Right.
kind
Yesterday.
of last minute yesterday to bring it up for us. So there's a little thing here in our packet, but there are 2 available spots for at-large members of the public to serve on the Food Security Advisory Committee. Applicants must be East Bay Township residents. Staff prepared a draft announcement and application to be reviewed by the Parks Commission.
Yeah, so last month you talked about expanding it to add the 2 members, and so there was consensus to expand the committee. That's what you talked about last month, so this is kind of formalizing that process, and it's got 4 applications to go to Beth, and they're due by June 17th for anybody that's interested.
I got just two typos and one rewording.
Okay?
Under what will you do, garden is grading, at the very end of the paragraph.
Yep.
Also in that, it says programs of the advisory committee. I don't know, it sounded weird when I read that. I was just gonna switch it to
Programs.
advisory committee programs.
Programs, okay.
And then the second paragraph from the bottom, the farmer's market or the community garden, it says of the community garden, or is it supposed to
Yep.
be of? That's it.
Well, yes, perfect. Okay. Any other changes or any other comments?
No, other than that, I think it looks pretty good. I guess the only thing we have to do is have a motion to approve with changes.
Yeah, I move to approve the food security incubator member application with the advised changes.
I will second that.
All right, motion made by Reardon, support by Hetmer to approve the advisory committee application with changes. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion passed. Okay. Moving on to business before the Parks Commission, 9C, geocache. I believe materials and stuff have all been ordered for all those. I don't know if we have stickers made yet. I don't know what the status of that was.
You know, I'm not sure about the stickers. I guess for this part of it is we need to figure out how to get them out. If it's everybody picture favorite park and you go and find the location and give the coordinates so that we can put it into the app. So the township has, purchased your membership to create the caches. So we just need to get them out into the parks. And so I don't know if there's individuals that really want to do that and
I could do it.
go through that in each park, or if you want to split up the task, or how you want to do that.
Jen's is closest to me, so that's easiest, but are we waiting to put it in there until?
Yeah, there was
Sorry,
a
that was
cache
open.
already there as well, which there might be conflict, Beth said.
Yeah, we gotta give theirs the boot.
Yeah, or figure out how to, there might be able to be 2, but I think there's proximity, so I think Beth was looking into the kind of legal side of that. I'd be willing to take a couple and disperse a couple, I don't know.
I'd like to commit, but my life's been kind of crazy lately, so
I'll do as many as it takes.
So,
sounds fun.
So
I
the
guess
two of
we
you?
can work with Beth,
Hiding sounds like the most fun part.
yeah.
Okay, I will get you connected, and then the 2 of you can work through that. Thanks for volunteering
Yeah.
to get those established. Yeah, and we can check to see, I know all the cases or the boxes are here. I don't know about the stickers, though.
Yeah, which is fine, those can all be added at a later time too,
Yeah.
so, okay. Anything else more on geocache? Okay. Looks like that took care of all the business. Moving on to public comment. Is there any public comment at this time?
I have a public comment. I am running next year. I just missed the deadline because I wasn't paying attention, so I might need y'all to write me in August.
I think you could still run as an independent, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have to do
No.
independent.
Yeah.
Don't you still have to fill in some paperwork
I
and
got
get
it.
that in?
Yes, I got it. Yes, I should check the date on that too.
There is a deadline for that,
There is
too.
a
I think it's
deadline.
like July 29th or something.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's in
later.
July.
I have until July 18th of
18th.
to file as a no-party candidate with qualifying voter signature petitions. The formula to be a successful write-in candidate in the August 6th primary election, I either need 10 votes or 18 votes, or 5% of the greatest number of votes cast on the ballot for any candidate seeking the same office as the write-in candidate. Because I was not paying attention. It does not give me a deadline to be a write-in for August. And if I get written in on August, then I'm on the November ballot.
Right. Yeah, you should check. You do have to file to be a write-in too. I don't know the deadline. I don't know if it's like the day before the election or something
Well, I
a couple
think
days
the-
before.
If you run as an independent, you're automatically in the general
Right.
election.
You are.
Right, but I need an X amount of write-ins.
Right.
I got on the board by writing myself in on the November ballot 8 years ago.
Yeah. So you can do, yeah, one or the other, I guess. If you do write-in in August and that doesn't
Then I'm on the
work.
November ballot.
Right, for independent.
If you get so many votes in August, then you automatically get on the November ballot.
Well, it's either 10 vote, must equal the greater of the following, 10 votes, or 1% of the population, or 5% greater number than any other write-in.
Oh,
I will probably
Sounds complicated.
have another,
Yeah.
yes, it
Yeah.
is. Even Sue's like, here you go. So in July, I might be reminding you to write me in August, if of course you would, if that's how you want to spend your park commission votes.
Right, yes.
All right.
And then the only public comment I forgot to mention about the board basics, you got an email from Beth to register for that, so you do have to register for that at the county. It's May 29th if you want to take the class.
what is that? Oh, the,
The board member basics.
yeah.
I did that
It's not mandatory, is it?
No,
No, you just have to register.
yeah.
Right. If you are attending, you need to.
They just want to make sure there's enough seats.
Oh.
That there's
that
enough food
space.
to go
They
around.
want your bottle of water so you don't get dehydrated.
It's a good experience if no one's been. That was a good
How
one.
long, was it like 2 hours in the afternoon or something?
In the morning.
Yeah.
Huh? It's in the
It's
morning?
1 to 3,
1 to 3 on what day?
Wednesday, the
Regular
29th.
business hours. I know.
They go over basic meeting rules and
Yeah.
Yep, it is a good class, and it's a great refresher, even if you've taken it a while ago, just, we all kind of forget about different parts of it. So that's happening. And I did want to let you know that Sam messaged me and said that those picnic tables that we discussed for so many, minutes, there's 3 of them, and they were bought with grant money, so they'll be reimbursed, so you don't need to worry about the picnic tables.
I was worried. I was just curious that they found a really good deal.
Yeah, you reach out to Sam, he's got whatever his connections are.
all right.
Oh,
There's
thank you, yes.
no more comment. We'll move on to the upcoming meeting date, is June 17th.
Yeah, so for that meeting, I'm gonna have a draft of your quarterly report to forward to the board. We'll hopefully have some numbers for your parks maintenance items and your bylaws.
Perfect.
Anything else I'm forgetting? Okay.
Number 5 will be open, Gens will be.
Oh, and the budget for the August date,
Yep.
if necessary. I can't imagine it would be too much, but,
A couple $100.
right.
So, okay. Well, I'd like to adjourn the meeting at 7:35 PM.
Thank you.